Guys, welcome back. It's Nick here again at J-Tech. Today we're going to go over a pre-alignment inspection on a truck. There's some things you need to check, some things you need to look at prior to doing an alignment. We're going to start with the tires. So come on in here and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So here we have the drive tire here, or the steer tire here on a Peterbilt. There's a few things you need to look at. One's a tread depth. Now on any steer tire, we know that we don't want to have any less than 4 30-second tread depth. Also, you want to check for these wear patterns. So here this got some wearing on the outsides. So you want to make sure these tires are in good condition. You want to make sure there's no cuts. You want to make sure there's no chunks out of the tire, no cracks, and it's holding air. Now when it comes to inflation, you want to remember, for inflation, you want to do fleet, whatever fleet wants it inflated at. If they don't have a specification, you go by the OEM specification. If there's nothing to OEM, then you go by what's on the side of the tire. All right, so fleet, OEM, tire. Always remember that, okay? And after that, you want to move to the back tires. You're going to do the exact same process. Check for all the same things. Check all the tires. And once your tires are good, we're going to move on to the suspension components. Okay, let's talk about the next really important part of this is the suspension. Come on. Okay, so for the suspension, you want to make sure all the way around the truck, your shocks are in good condition. Okay, and by that I mean they're not broken, they're not dented, they're not cracked or leaking. You get a shock that's got a big dent in it, it's going to need replacing because it's not going to compress the way it needs to compress, okay? You're also going to need to check down here your U-bolts, okay? Your U-bolts need to be nice and tight, that they're not warped, there's no cracks in them. The nuts on the bottom are real tight, okay? And to make sure that you'll know, because if they're not, your leaf springs here will start to splay away from each other. They'll start to split like this. All right, and that's a bad thing. You don't want that. So you make sure the U-bolts are nice and tight. You make sure your leaf springs look like they're in good condition. They're not broken or warped or cracked. There's a theme here. As we go along, everything we check is going to be that way. Warped, cracked. You want to make sure, any visual damage or anything that looks like it's not supposed to be there, okay? All these U-bolt brackets, there's one on top. There's some on the bottom. You want to make sure they're not cracked or broken and they're nice and tight. I mean, you can tug on this stuff and move this stuff around. You can get under the truck. But just get a good visual inspection. Now, as you move around to the back of the truck, it's going to be the same thing, except you're going to want to check your airbags, okay? You want to check your airbags, your shocks. Depending on the type of suspension that the truck has, there's a few different variants. You want to check everything, a good visual and feel inspection, okay? Anything that would affect the truck's alignment. That could be a big problem when you go to align the truck. If something's broken or missing or cracked, anything that can move back there it's not supposed to, and you think you have the truck aligned, it's going to screw everything up, okay? And that's about it so far for the suspension. Now we're going to move on to the front end steering components of the truck. Okay, next we're going to talk about the front end components and steering components. So what I normally do is I'll come in here and I'll get a good grip here on the steering column and I'll turn it, right? As I turn this steering column, as you can see, it's going to move my pitman arm, it's going to move my drag link all the way to my steering arm, to my tie rod ends and Ackerman arm down to my cross tube, okay? Now as you turn it, you want to give a good visual and feel inspection. You can see the steering box, everything here is nice and tight, and my steering column, you can see here on my pitman arm, the bolts are nice and tight, nothing's cracked, nothing's warped, everything's where it needs to be, all right? Come down here, my drag link, it doesn't look warped, it looks nice and straight, everything is in order. Same with my steering arm. Down here to my Ackerman arm on the bottom, to my tie rod ends, down here to my cross tube here. It runs across to the other side. So as I turn it, I give a good look to see everything's moving right. Now if you come out here and take a look at the kingpin, this is where my kingpin would be. Now if you feel like there's excessive movement in here, like the kingpin is moving more than it should be, what you need to do is get a dial indicator and put your dial indicator on it. You need to make sure you take your lower bushing measurement, your lateral measurement, and your vertical measurement, okay? You want to make sure you take all these measurements, so lower, upper, and then your lateral, right? And remember with the kingpin, okay, if it's a new kingpin, 2 to 15 thousandths is your max. If it's used, you can go all the way out, 2 all the way out to 40 thousandths. That's the right amount of movement. That's only if you feel like there's excessive movement in the kingpin, okay? The next thing you're going to want to check also, which I probably should have covered when we went over the tires, but I'm going to cover it now. You're going to have this up on jack stands, okay? And you're going to check for your end play. You're going to grab the tire. Once it's up on the jack stands, you're going to grab the tire and you're going to shake it. Now it should feel nice and tight. There should be very little movement. You know, if it feels like it's wobbly, you definitely want to put a dial indicator on here. You want to check the end play. Remember, there should be no more than 3 thousandths end play, right, when you're checking this. That's only if you feel like it's excessive. And other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. Once you've inspected basically the whole chassis of the truck, the suspension, the steering components, everything is in good order. You know, nothing's cracked, missing, warped, broken. You know the deal. Nothing's leaking. You know, none of that. Then you can go ahead and get started on your alignment. But you want to make sure, it's very, very important to do this inspection first, because if you don't, you'll never get the truck aligned where it needs to be. Those components will need to get replaced or fixed before you can ever do an alignment. So I appreciate you guys tuning in, and I'll see you next time.